A vehicle from outer space. Many railroads in the United States are very expensive. Norfolk Southern is a railroad that is important, and the big black engines pull big trains, and they can be really useful, just like on the island of Sodor. And if the train is too heavy for one engine to pull, the engineer attaches more than one engine together, which the leading engine in front has one driver in the cab and a conductor, while the rest of the engines trail along. And many freight cars can be loaded with lots of things like books, newspapers, toys, stickers, blankets, beds, canned goods, or anything. And that's what makes a freight train really useful indeed. Amtrak is a long-distance passenger train that goes from one city to another. And big passenger trains can have special engines while they pull trains to be really useful. But just like freight trains, the engineer has more than one engine attached while the rest are trailing. In the winter time, tracks can be very slippery, and that's why locomotives have sandboxes. And if train cars are filled with crude oil, the engineer spreads sand onto the tracks so the bogies don't slip. MBTA is an important train too, and the headquarters are in Boston. And passenger trains can be double-decker or single-decker. And in the rear of every state-supported train, there is a special coach called a cab car. Sometimes there's a cab car in the rear, and sometimes there's another engine in the rear. And this is why commuter trains are state-supported and are really useful indeed. And northern and southern MBTA trains go to many counties in Massachusetts and Rhode Island. A woman train is a very special railroad vehicle, and the woman locomotive is powered by rice cake power. It is a new power that was made long ago before I narrated. And in the world, rice cake power doesn't exist. And instead, coal, electricity, and steam exists. But because steam locomotives are obsolete, the engineer can restore them so they can look all new again. And this is why women trains are really important, because their job is to make new genders for the community. CSX railroads are important, and they use big engines and small engines. And the headquarters are located in Jacksonville, Florida. And if the train's too heavy for one engine to pull, they attach more than one engine together, and sometimes they use a special train car called a fuel tender. The fuel tender is an important train car that's attached between big locomotives so it can provide more fuel for the train engines. And that's why they're really useful indeed. Amtrak's Acela Express is the most important train in New England. It goes from Boston, Massachusetts to Washington, D.C., the capital. But Trenty is a very important train. She is $51. She was sold in Sherborne, Massachusetts, and was brought to Cape Cod to be really useful. One day, she was delivering freight cars of cardboard boxes into the yard. Mr. Broadsword was there. "I'm glad you're here, Trenty," he said. "I would like you to collect a train of toxic waste and bring it to Salt Lake City, Utah." "That's a fine plan, sir," said Trenty, and she blew her whistle, and she steamed out of the yard. "Woman engine coming through," she said. Before long, she buffered up to the freight train, and she steamed onto the main line. "Chugga chugga 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 choo choo," she said. "Woman train coming through." She was feeling pleased with herself. "I'm a very cheap engine," she said, "and I'm $51.